everybody, it's Gabe from Total Detailing. We're here in the shop. It's a quiet Saturday afternoon. I've been working on a car, so that's why I'm covered in sweat. Today we're here to talk about RUPES's new DA line of pads, compounds, and polishes. I caught a webinar from RUPES maybe a month ago. They were talking about the new DA line and how they were simplifying the line, reducing the number of chems and the number of pads to kind of streamline the process of paint correction and polishing and body shop work, which I think is a good idea because the amount of pads and compounds and polishes out there and the combinations between them are just even thinking about it makes my brain hurt. I love Lake Country, don't get me wrong. I use their pads all the time. But they have like 4 or 5 different lines of pads and it's overly complicated. That's a very big market for, you know, detailing and car care product companies, you know, is to release a new line with a very light or small tweak that nets you very little gain under the guise of you're going to be safer with the polisher with this pad versus that pad. I guess you just kind of have to make that decision for yourself. Anyway, so this right here is the original RUPES correction line. So they have the blue coarse pad, the green medium pad, the yellow fine pad, and the white ultra fine. And that is supposed to, you know, correspond with each of these chemical pairings in the correction process, you know. And they have different names, you know, Zephyr gloss, quartz gloss, ceramic gloss, diamond. They're color coded to, you know, make it so that a 6th grader could do that. The new DA line eliminates the green from the lineup. So they're reducing the number of pads and chems for the DA line. From what I remember in the webinar, they're saying that the new blue pad does the job of the blue and the green pad when paired with its appropriate new, you know, polish and compound. You can achieve the same results pending you tweak your working time and your surface area and the amount of pressure you're using. If you understand the paint correction process at all, you already know that. This is meant to just kind of simplify for everybody. So you already know that you can get more or less out of a particular pad and chem combo based upon those 3 factors: working area, working time, and pressure. Heat isn't necessarily a huge factor with the DA, but, you know, ambient temperature and humidity play a large role in how you're going to get performance out of your pad and chemical combo as well. So the Uno Protect here came out before the rest of the DA line. This is their all-in-one correct, polish, and protect solution. It's very loose. It's very loose. You can almost put a spray bottle top on this and spray it. I've only used this a handful of times, and it's been for cars that have just like, they've been manhandled by, you know, a family member that didn't know what they were doing when they were washing their vehicle, or I needed to get like some light water etching out of somebody's car, and it's worked really well. I haven't used this a whole lot, and I think I'm going to for the rest of the year, just to kind of give it an honest shot. So this is the rest of the DA line here. So they have Uno Pure Ultra Fine Ultra Finishing Polish. So this is to be paired with the new white pad. This is their no filler, nothing left behind, you know, ultra finished down, perfect last step polish. Now I do a lot with the older RUPES yellow, so that's why I elected to get the larger bottle of DA Fine is what they're calling it, or their new gold yellow. I use yellow a lot. It's my #1 go-to with the late country orange right behind it. So this is supposed to be paired with, you know, the DA Fine pad. You know, that's kind of, you know, your paint enhancements and, you know, your one steps. This is the new blue pad, and they call it the DA Course. And again, I elected for the smaller bottle because, let's just be honest, I've got a lot of two-step corrections in my area. Just, it's different everywhere you go. So this is supposed to be paired with the new blue pad. Let's talk about the packaging of the new pads. So I love this. And I'm gonna tell you why I love it. #1, it's much more attractive aesthetically, which makes sense for RUPES considering they're like one of the largest, if not the largest, polisher manufacturer in the world. And you know, they want to create a premium product for their customers. And this kind of packaging and coloring, single use, like this screams high quality to me. Like, so from a marketing perspective, that makes a lot of sense for RUPES. For RUPES, this also is twofold. It makes these pads more of a single-use commodity, at least in the brain, because you think about something like, what else is this size in your life? Like a $1 bag of chips at your convenience store? And what do you do with when you're done with that bag of chips? You throw it away. Well, I think that's the idea in the consumerism here, is to make these pads, you know, make them a bit more disposable, which makes sense because, I mean, all you have to do is rub a pad up against some dirty trim and it's just destroyed and you're gonna have to swap it out. Granted, you could wash it and save it, but I get the idea, is what I'm getting at. I like the new packaging because typically the pads, I think, are shipped to dealers in like sleeves of 6 or 10 or 12. And then they just sit out on a shelf or in a warehouse or in a box, and it's just kind of open air, and you end up buying a pad that's got like dust in it and dirt, and then you run it across somebody's perfect paint and you're installing scratches. So from the idea of, or from the perspective of cleanliness and like sterilization, this is a great idea, especially for body shops, like where there's tons of dust floating around. This is an awesome idea. I haven't opened any of these yet, so we're gonna do this now. I have a 3-inch one back here, so I do a lot of light and like yellow style polishing with my LHR 75E. So I bought these as well. So let's, we're gonna open all of these and kind of compare them to the existing RUPES pads. So here's the new white pad. So I'm gonna open this like a bag of chips. I'm gonna grab it at the seams here and just pull it. And it opens the same way. So it's got this reflective interior, very much like a bag of chips, like 100%. What that accomplishes as far as technical, I don't know. So here's the 5-inch pad. I like that they've gone to this kind of concave shape. So you can kind of fit this into tighter areas, I think. So, and I imagine that once a pad gets hot, that this concave shape will prevent the pad from bowing and flattening. So you'll see here that on the left side of the pad, it has the imagery for the DA style polisher, and on the right, you have the gear-driven style polisher. So it looks like this is compatible with both. I'm hoping that you can see this. It looks like it feels pretty densely packed. It's very fine. And if you stretch and pull on the pad, the cells don't open up much, so that's good. Now here's the old style pad. So this is also the 6-inch version. This is a 5. So right now I'm just kind of comparing the faces. I think that the old style white pad has more densely packed foam. Like this. Like look at this. So this is right? And here's the new one. Like this, the foam cells in this are absolutely more open. Okay. That's interesting. I'm gonna put this back in the package here. Let's open up the yellow. This is the one I'm most excited to see. Ooh, it's like sponge cake yellow, orange, like banana-ish. Like here's my, obviously a used pad here. You can see the color difference. I guess so that you can distinguish them quickly. Again, it's got the gear driven and DA symbols on it. This is, again, like absolutely like a, it feels like a very, very much like a different face. So yeah, like this is really, it's interesting. So this new blue pad is supposed to be able to take the place of both the blue and the green in the old lineup. It's a much deeper, vivid blue. So this is the old blue. Yeah, like this is absolutely a different texture design. This is way more stiff, the new one. So here's the new blue. Not much give here. It's got good rebound. So comparing this to the old one, like the old blue is very much a much more aggressive pad, just in comparison. This is the old style green. It's the new blue resembles the makeup of the old style green, but the new blue is definitely more aggressive in feel. I'm gonna be using this lineup, the new lineup, on this 2019 Audi Q7. And we're gonna do a full correction on the paint. So my guess is that we're gonna, and the paint's in really good shape. So my guess is that we're probably gonna work it with the yellow and finish out with the white, because there's no super crazy aggressive steps that we're gonna need to use the blue on. So I'm sure that I'll find some areas to use the blue on, probably on the rear hatch, where hands are touching the rear hatch all the time. There'll be some deeper defects to get out there, but just based on what I see with the paint already and the aggressiveness of the new style pads, I really think that that's probably what we're going to end up doing. Is first step is going to be yellow, and then finishing step is going to be white. So we're going to be using these new style DA pads on what is quite possibly the industry's best polisher right now, the LHR 15 Mark III. And this, I think, is kind of the 5-inch pad and polisher size is kind of the golden standard at this point. If you want more content like this, feel free to subscribe or not. All right, so we're gonna start the paint correction on this 2019 Audi Q7 with the new RUPES DA line. We're gonna be using a brand new LHR 15 Mark III polisher from RUPES. They're 5-inch DA. We got our Plush 550 GSM microfiber towel from the Clean Garage for our polish wipe off. We're going to start with the blue pad and blue DA course, and then we're going to step up to the yellow and the DA fine, and we're going to see how that finishes down, and we're going to see if we have to take it into the white. My guess is that the yellow will finish down nicely. I want to do 2 sections, one with just the blue and the yellow, and then another section with blue, yellow, and white, just to see clarity differences. And you know, we'll go from there. We got our air tool to blow out our pads. We got our pad claw tool. Sometimes you need this in conjunction with the air tool, because, I mean, especially with compounds, they clog the pads and they're a little bit more stubborn. Sometimes just running this across the pad and then hitting it with air will loosen the compound up, and you know, you get more life out of it before you need to switch. We've got our paint depth gauge to take proper measurements. We have various lights. I've got my scan grip headlight. I've got the handheld. I've got the multi-match R here. We got our various pads. You know, we got a little Gatorade because it's a little warm today. And you know, let's see what we can come up with. RUPES also says these are all medium to long cycle time polishes and compounds. So that means they work best if your particular work area is at bare minimum of 45 to 60 seconds of working time before you do your wipe off. So that's something to remember when you're selecting your pad and polish combo and what your overall goal is for the paint correction at hand. We're gonna take my little RUPES branded cable clip and put it back on the card so I don't lose it. So we're gonna take our blue pad, pull it out. We're going to use this centering hole to center it on the backing plate. So you may hear the air compressor in the other room kick on while we're working on this. I'm going to do my best to talk over it. So since this is the first run here, we're going to do a little X. now we're gonna, oh yeah, that wipe off is nice. That's really nice, actually. Let's talk about, so do I think that the new reduced RUPES product line could work with the elimination of the green step? Yes. I think that based on how the polish behaves and compounds behave based on the amount of time you work them and the results that you get, I think that the increased cycle time will absolutely allow you to get the same results as with the green step, with the reduced and simplified DA system. My favorite is definitely the white. That wipes off super easy and it finishes out nicely. I wish this was black so that we could like really test it and see how it finishes out. But the yellow feels really good. So I feel like the yellow and white will probably be the go-to for majority of people that don't have hammered cars. Tell me down in the comments what your go-to pad and chemical combo is. And let me know if you think you're gonna be trying out the new RUPES DA line. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.